Madam Personnel Chair, I'll let you.
Should we?
We can go.
All right, it is 6:43 according to my clock. I'm going to bring the Personnel Committee to order. Do we need a roll call?
Nelson?
Here.
Jackson?
Here.
Cole?
Here.
Okay, and as Chair of Finance, correcting the time for the time change recently, it's 5:42.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Still in that adjustment period. So I'll call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order. And can you do the roll call, Bill?
Jackson?
Here.
Cairo?
Here.
Mormon?
Here.
Present and expecting one present.
Okay. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections for finance to the minutes of the August 15th, 2023 Personnel and Finance Committees meeting jointly? Hearing none, the minutes are approved for finance.
Personnel. Any questions, comments, or corrections? None. Approval of the minutes is accepted for personnel. All right, moving on to miscellaneous. For personnel review, consideration and recommendation for approval of the council of a retention incentive for the Middleton Police Department. Brian, I assume you're up.
Okay. You're going to go into closed session first?
Not for this
That's
one.
Not for this item, for the next item.
Okay.
All right, so everyone knows that we have struggled mightily over the last 12 months to retain our qualified sworn police officers. We've even lost some of our police supervisors during that period. This is a retention program designed to enhance retention of our sworn police officers and our supervisors who are on pretty continuous assault by both the county, Madison, and other municipalities, trying to recruit them away to join their departments. This is a retention program for tenured staff. So those police officers that have been here for at least a year, with a single exception is noted in the program materials. It is designed very similarly to programs that some of our other municipalities around us are using, really actually very closely to a program that Fitchburg is looking to adopt for their police officers if they have not adopted it already. Under his execution through the timeline from 12/1 to 8/1 would provide a retention incentive from the payment looking backwards for each quarter that would retain our qualified officers through the primary training period for those officers that are currently well into the pipeline for hiring. As I've been working with the police department to bring in new officers through their current recruitment. This is a non-precedential setting program that has been initially discussed with the WPPA local. They understand that this is a singular retention program to deal with specific issues that we've had over this last year, and enabled largely by labor under execution that is generated by their missing positions for this last year. It's not tied to longevity, rank, or any other value or condition other than retained service for the indicated period. We've also included the dispatch staff in this, though they are not sworn or supervisory sworn police officers. We are encountering the same types of targeted recruitments from other municipalities and other agencies for our dispatch. They have communicated that to the police chief that, they have been contacted directly. And so at the behest of Chief Hillenbrand, we have included dispatch as a part of this program. The program is fully funded by the labor budget under execution. The materials were in your packet. We currently are running about $500,000 under executed based on the vacancies that we've had throughout the year. I track that As soon as someone leaves, I put them in, we follow until the position is filled. So we have a really good sense of where we are for that under execution. Going into this year, we were able to use that to leverage our personnel budget. We'll be able to do that again next year, but this is a direct usage of those funds. The funds would pay for the current year disbursement on 12/1, and then the remaining funds necessary for the program will be placed into a sinking fund that will be drawn from for the next 3 payments into the next year. We have had initial discussion with the bargaining unit leadership and their business agent across this program. They had met with us earlier on and asked if there was anything we could do to assist with the incentives and retention for their officers. This was the program that we designed. We went back and talked with them, and they were very favorable towards this. Obviously, we didn't commit anything to them, but we did have to speak with them about it before we brought it forward to you. Otherwise, it would represent a breach in our good faith bargaining with the bargaining unit. Would it have been open for the membership to know before we talked with you? They assure us that the membership will be very interested in this. We already have an MOU drafted by Bill Morgan, our labor attorney, to establish this program between us and the bargaining unit. The next steps are for us to pass this, implement it, coordinate with the leadership and the business agent with the local 427 to sign off on this, and then we would move forward the program. Again, communication of this has been strictly prohibited only to the council tonight, the business agent and the bargaining team. The unit has not communicated this to their members up to this point either. So this is the first time that this program is available for the members of the unit to see it also. Questions? If you have further questions about the impact, the perceived impact for this, Captain Lather is here tonight to speak on Chief Hillenbrand's behalf for the necessity and the perceived benefit to this and the potential impact to the department.
I have a quick question for you, Brian. 2 of them. Given that no one in the membership of Local 427 knows about this, and this is a public meeting, and this is okay that
That's fine.
if someone's watching the Zoom?
Yeah, and this is, we have already had the opportunity to talk with the business agent and the negotiating team. They're aware of it. They said they wouldn't communicate it to the membership until we had an opportunity to bring it forward to the council. So we are correct in our sequencing for communication.
And a couple dummy questions. Can you decipher MOU for me?
Memorandum of Understanding, sorry.
And then on the list of sworn officers, the highlighted ones are getting this retention incentive. There are others with lots of years of tenure, and I'm just curious why they're not included.
There should be 2 columns. Those that have nothing in either column aren't eligible. Supervisors would be in one set of the columns.
It's split up. The table's
That's all
split.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
because these are all the officers.
It's all on a single spreadsheet on my screen, but when it uploads, it got broken into a couple of different pages.
Fair enough. Thanks. Sorry about that.
So it looks like how many officers are not eligible for the bonus, or I'm sorry, the retention payment? Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
maybe-
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I think it's less than 9.
Reason is they're not
They
yet
have not
qualified.
been here a year.
Did you have more questions?
I think I think it's good for right now.
Yep.
I have one.
Question about cost.
Jennifer, when
So
you're,
just 2 are not eligible. Captain Lather is able to fill in that. I don't have that spreadsheet up, but only 2 are not eligible.
Only 2 are not eligible. Okay.
okay, if I call on Jennifer,
Yeah.
go ahead.
These, the retention amounts, are they are they enough to get at like being competitive against the pay increases that someone might get by going to another division or another department?
Apples and oranges.
Okay.
This is a one-time retention incentive program. It spans 12 months from December 1st going forward. It is not an increase in salary. We can't match the increases in salary that someone would get if were they to go to the county sheriff's office. We can't match the programs that Madison has. But this incentive program is incredibly viable compared to the efforts that our comparative cities are making. The local leadership found it to be very generous and very appreciated.
Thank you.
Alder Jackson.
Down where it had the total cost. Page was that? Look, it had right here.
There.
What is the difference between supervisor sworn and sworn? I know what dispatch is, but
Okay, so great question. So sworn officers are members of the bargaining unit.
Okay.
The supervisors, as supervisors, cannot be a part of the bargaining unit, but they are also sworn officers. So our lieutenants, captains, and sergeants are not members of the bargaining unit, but they are also sworn officers within the department. They are also being targeted with direct recruitment requests.
the other thing is, I definitely want to hear from Captain to speak on behalf of Chief on the impact of pushing this forward.
I think it's working. You guys hear me all right? Thank you. Chief Hallenbrand couldn't make it tonight with a personal commitment, personal conflict. So I'm here to speak on his behalf. I want to thank him for all the work that he's been putting into this leading up, and city staff, and appreciate all of your consideration as well. As Brian mentioned, I do find this to be a generous proposal. While it does not maybe match what some of our direct competition is with the sheriff's office and Madison PD, we have had officers leave that have taken over a $30,000 pay raise. That's not a one-time thing, and we understand that we clearly can't compete with that. However, I do think that this proposal, as laid out, is generous and will do something to help, and it will show that we are all trying and we're all doing what we can. Being split out over 4 payments is hopefully enough to kind of draw that out a little bit and maybe retain some people that are on the fence. We are expecting to lose 1 more by the end of this month, and we're hopeful that once this proposal comes through, we can limit the damage beyond that point. We will have 2, hopefully starting in field training late December or early January. We hope to have another potentially 4 put through the academy in January. They would be on their own next fall, about the time this program is expiring. So hopefully this is enough of a Band-Aid to kind of stop that bleeding and stop people from leaving that might consider it. We recently got word that the sheriff's office intends to expand their recruitment through next year. Initially, it was just going to be through this December. So yet another reason that this proposal is all the more critical at this time.
Officer Lather, can I ask you, I'm sure I didn't tell you, say your correct rank, I'm sorry. When you're getting all these new people and losing these experienced people, how long do you feel like it takes to get somebody up to speed?
That is the most difficult part about this. Not only are we losing people that have more than 10 years of experience, it takes a long time to train somebody and catch them up. The academy in and of itself, you're talking, it's 720 hours, so it's about 5 months. Our hiring process before that, it takes time. We've really expedited it. Kudos Chief Hallenbrand. We've really upended that and gone it as quickly as we can while still maintaining a level of quality in our candidates that we want. But we have to do backgrounds, medical, psych, there's appointments. That process takes time in the front end. The academy takes about 5 months. Then they have about 5 months of field training beyond that. So you're talking almost a full year by the time we're able to fill one of those spots. And what we're not willing to sacrifice is the quality of our candidates and jam people through. We're proud of the way we do things at Middleton. I've even heard some of our competitors at nearby agencies, as they're describing us and describing themselves, they'll say that we don't go above and beyond like Middleton does. We pride ourselves in that. We want to keep doing that. And that's why we think this initiative is important.
Thanks. Yeah, I just feel like that's just more of a point for us to get this passed so that you're not just constantly starting over again.
And on top of that, we do expect potential retirements next year, so at least one, potentially more. So we are looking at, we know we're gonna have more holes to fill beyond the gaps that we have right now.
Anybody else?
Any other questions from finance? I just have a few. I support this. I have a couple things I wanted to note on page five of the packet, which is showing, there's a reference under eligibility in the second bullet on the page, reference to a bonus program. I think that should be changed to match the text earlier, the retention incentive instead of bonus. When was Officer, is it Rushdie? When was Officer Rushdie hired? And I'm asking because I'm uncomfortable with referring to a specific person in a policy like this. And I'm wondering if there's a way to specify the date, the day after Officer Rushdie was hired, and indicate that this is, this policy is only for qualified or certified officers.
I can speak to that on behalf of Chief Hallenbrand. I don't know if Brian has additional input there, but Officer Ruckty was hired back in February, so just would have missed this cutoff date, and also came to us with experience. To be quite honest, she's the type of candidate that would be hunted most by our partners. That she's been trained up now by us and by another agency. She would get lucrative offers to go elsewhere. Not that I think that she is looking that, but being that she so narrowly misses that cutoff, we feel very strongly that she should be included in the incentive.
Oh, sure. I'm not saying she shouldn't be included. I'm saying she shouldn't be named in the policy, and that is there a way to make it effective as of the day, literally the day after she was hired, so that she would qualify. And then I understand she's a certified officer. Those are the only officers that can get it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we can do. It'll require a quick update of the MOU with Attorney Morgan, but if the council committees are more comfortable with it being the 14th of February versus singled out name, that's an easy change.
I just think that's a better practice. And then finally, I would just, I'm concerned about, Alder Cole asked, is this the right amount? I think about, is it possible the sheriff's office is giving a $6,000 signing bonus? So, this might not make a difference, but it is what it is. I'm just thinking, and I hope the public safety and the police commission can look at maybe some structural realities that we're facing. You mentioned that the dispatchers are likely or vulnerable to being poached by our counterparts in the county and elsewhere. And I know there's innovation funding available through the new state shared revenue program for consolidating services. And I'm also aware that most communities in the state partner with their counties for dispatch. And so I just suggest that as something that maybe could be considered in the future, so that we don't have this continuing turnover in dispatchers, but rather change the way we approach dispatch.
I can address a little bit of structural concern as a part of the discussion with the local when we talked about the program. We also advanced a desire to begin working with them at the beginning of second quarter to renegotiate their successor agreement. Normally, we wait till the last quarter and kind of grunt through it at that point. We are going to sit down with them early on and take a look at every paragraph and every line to see where we can restructure the agreement to better serve and better meet the requirements and desires of the local, and still be within the ability of the city to support. Now, there's a lot of things that other municipalities are doing out there that our local is pointed to, so we're going to work through that.
Great. And then one last thing, I'm just wondering, do we need to change the budget for either 23 or 24?
Yes, we will. What we would anticipate is that
for the meeting on, it's the 20th, when we have the public hearing and discussion. We'll have some suggested amendments for areas where there's additional information that's come through. This will be one of those, and we'll budget for the expenditure for the amounts that would be paid out yet this year, and then show the dollar amount to be held as an assigned balance to carry into 2024 to fund those payments in 2024. So we'll
Okay.
prepare that, assuming this goes forward tonight.
Great. And can we request that these payments be recorded in a different line item than personnel or, the salaries?
They are compensable salaries and salary funds that are WRS eligible. So I don't know. Yeah, we can certainly track those dollar amounts differently. We have that number of what was paid in this versus what was paid for wages. With our payroll system, they may end up being in the same account numbers, but we can come up with a report to separate that out.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I have.
Thanks. Any other questions? Okay. Are we entertaining motions at this point?
I think we are, and I wonder if Alder Jackson, being the pivot point for our two committees, if
Yeah.
he'd be willing to make the motion to approve to recommend to council the adoption of a retention incentive for the Middleton Police Department.
I make a motion that we recommend this to council.
Cole, as the member of the Public Safety Committee from council, I do second that motion.
Norman from Finance will second as well.
We have a second for personnel.
That was me.
That was,
Yeah.
Okay.
They're also in the other role.
All right.
All right, personnel, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes for personnel.
finance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. I move that we convene into closed session
Do we
and
need,
would like a second.
So moved. Or
For
so seconded.
finance, for finance.
I was focused, I'll second for finance.
all right, I need a motion for personnel to go into closed.
I will move to go into closed session.
Thank you, I need a second.
This is Jackson. I'll second.
Do we have to do roll call?
Alder Wilkes,
Yes.
Alder Cole,
Yes.
Alder Jackson,
Yes.
Alder Canaro,
Yes.
Alder Woman.
Yes.
What about Alder Nelson?
Sorry, Alder Nelson. Did you catch those seconds?
Yes.
So we'll need just a moment to go into closed session. For those that are on Zoom, we'll be putting you in a waiting room. When the Personnel Finance Committee finishes with this item, we'll be bringing you back into the main Zoom for the regular Finance Committee meeting.
No, it's. There's